Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Hey, remember how 20 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, now it's the future, and I used all those savings to buy this new hologram phone. Because, it's the future, and everything is holograms now.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customer surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Hello and welcome to the Fraudcast. Today, we are recording our 100th episode of the show. Woo! Sound effect, applause. So today we have, of course, Hanakawa, OG. Hanakawa is here.
OG.
You're an OG. We have a recent addition to the show, Anna.
Hello, everybody.
And our special surprise guest co-host today is Danielle.
Hi.
We have Danielle of Danielle and Muhammad. And for those of you guys who do not know this about me, Danielle is my queen, and I will not let anything bad ever be said about her. I have actually met Danielle in person. We had dinner together with her and some of her friends that are now my friends. Lexi and I are friends now. And it's great. And one of the things that I love about you is I loved you before I met you in person, but meeting you in person, it's like, this is you. There's absolutely nothing fake about you.
Yeah.
Everything you see on TV is this sweet, genuine, authentic person. That's even more so in person. Like there's something about meeting you in person that it's like, whoa, like you're really authentic. I wouldn't guess that I would get that from other cast members, but with you, it's like you get what you are. Like this is who you are.
And this is who I am.
It is. And you don't make any apologies for it. And you laugh at yourself, and I don't know if you're still doing it, but you used to do pictures, like autograph pictures.
Yes,
and people
I do when I get requests.
People ask for like you to write certain like quotes on there.
Yes.
And like, I want my sex tonight and things like that. And you will absolutely do it. And I think it is fabulous. I think that's fabulous. Anna's shaking her head.
I just watched the clips of you this morning to like just get in the mood and like get excited to see you. So I'm just laughing because that was the scene I was watching.
Happily.
It's television, like it's historical television gold. I'm just saying.
Well, it's funny how it all like infiltrates. Like when I was in a physical building, and I work for the government, so this is kind of funny. But we had a binder and it said evidence on it. And so I took the correctly spelled evidence sheet out and I put the evidence. And it took people about 3 weeks to notice. And only one person was like, holy shit, you watched that show?
They knew. For those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, so Danielle and Muhammad were on season 2 of the regular 90 Day. And that's the season I always point people to as the number 1. Like when I rank the seasons and when people ask me, where do I start? That's where I always start with. And your story continues on Happily Ever After 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
And so you have to watch all 3 of those to follow the entire story. And then of course, now there's stuff on the Single Life and on your Instagram about how you and Muhammad have now come to that point where you guys are friends and you are good friends and you support each other and it's all good and everything's good. And I think that is fantastic. Like watching the trajectory, what year was it when you were on season
2014.
Holy shit.
Wow, this stuff has been out that long. I was trying to figure that out. So wait, the first season?
Yeah, it has.
So it's 10 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because me and Muhammad in December will have known each other 10 years. because we started talking December of 2012.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's just like historical moments, guys.
It is. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. And
can I just say something though about Danielle? Danielle walked so everybody else could run. Just saying.
Yes. And what I love about that season and your story is that it's all authentic and genuine. The drama, the evidence binder, and you throwing it at him. I mean, like, you can't make that stuff up. They've been trying to recreate it ever since, like that level. But when you're making it up, it's not the same.
It don't work. It don't work.
And so let's start there. I want to get your opinion on 90 Day in general, since your episodes, since your seasons. Like, what do you think of, I mean, everyone knows the trajectory it's gone. Some people like it, some people don't like it. What are your thoughts on how it's progressed?
It has totally changed because there's more couples that are in it to get famous off of the show.
Yep.
Than telling the real story and sharing their story, and they're making stuff up as they go for the drama.
Jabri.
So
Liberace Jabri.
Liberace. Is that what we're calling him?
I don't know.
So no, like, okay. So out of the entire seasons, series, all the spinoffs, everything, what is your favorite iteration of the show? Is it 90 Day? Is it before the 90 Day? Is it Family Chantel, which if you did, I'd question your sanity.
Like, I would say it would have to be the first couple seasons of 90 Day.
Regular 90 Day, yeah.
And probably the first couple seasons of Happily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
And then I would say the Single Life, because I did the Single Life and that was pretty fun.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was fun to watch. Yeah. And that's where we met Lauren and Lexi, right? They were both on the show.
Michelle.
And I have not had the pleasure of meeting Lauren in person, although we have talked. But Lexi I have met, and she lives in this. They both live near me, but not near enough to, like, let's go to Dave and Buster's tonight. But close enough. DC close. Yeah. Which is like, anything a half hour away is DC close. She's in they're both in my area. Yeah. Okay, so as we embark on this 100th episode, we're kind of reflecting on the lifetime of the podcast, right? So it has been such a journey, and where we're at now versus where we were. Like, I started this podcast with a girl named Corinne, who was Talker of Shits on Instagram, and a lot of you guys may not know this, but that's where I started. It was me and Corinne who had developed this partnership on Instagram, and we developed it into this podcast.
Frauded.
Talker.
We're recording. This is crazy. This is our first episode of Talker is a Fraud.
Welcome, everybody out there.
What's going on, everybody?
I am Frauded by TLC.
And I am Talker of Shit.
And so here we are. What is our show about? We are here to uncover the fraud associated with 90 Day Fiance, our favorite trash show, and all its associated spinoffs. And we recorded our first episode, and we made all these plans and all this work that went into creating a podcast. Anybody who's done it knows how much work it is. And then the day we were supposed to record our second episode, I got a call from her husband that she had been arrested for fraud. Oh, so nothing connected to the show, nothing connected to anything here, but it was something with her HOA. Now, my understanding of all of that is it's all been resolved. I followed her case online. It's all been resolved. She didn't do jail time other than the 1 day in jail, and that I'm aware of. And then she's ordered to pay restitution, and I have not spoken with her since. A lot of you guys have asked me, some of you guys have asked me now about like where she is or what happened to her. And at this point, I mean, I've debated reaching out to her. So I thought about it, but I haven't decided yet. And then after that, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I did the second episode because I had all this tea on Tim and Jennifer that was when I had the Tim and Jennifer tea that their entire season was fake, and TLC didn't even know, probably. For those who don't know that story, Tim and Jennifer had already met in person, decided they didn't like each other, and then they went on the show pretending like they'd never met and all that. So if it looks like they don't get along, it's because they really don't get along. And I've seen some of the conversations, and they're
interestingly enough, you talk about that because I was watching Single Life, and then he's become a little famous with Veronica, and they have their own little thing going.
They're on Pillow Talk,
yeah. And then she goes, he's yelling at Jussie, and then she goes, we never dated. We never technically dated. If you pick up on that, she says that.
Veronica says that, or
not Veronica?
Jennifer
says that to Tim.
Ow. Yes, that's true.
When she's sitting with Jussie, she's like, we never dated. So it's like, there you go. So
there you go. Validating
that this is all a crock of nonsense.
I mean, at this point, what does she have to lose,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows it anyway. And Tim was so mad at me too, because he had sent me this pair of boots that he wore in his season to be used as a giveaway. And because we are starting the podcast, it was, we were doing all these giveaways and things like that to like encourage people to listen to the show and leave us 5-star reviews and all of this stuff, which people disregarded. And they are like, they're fishing for reviews and they 1 star. But every podcast ever does it. Anyway, he had sent me this pair of boots that he wore in the show to use. And he, and a picture, and he was like too frauded, and he like, fuck you or something like that, something in jest. It was, yeah. And there was a winner, and I sent the boots to the winner and stuff. And so he was all pissed because he's like, wait, I give you these and then you out me? Like,
womp, 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 womp.
I'm like, sorry, Tim.
If there's anything anyone knows, it's that knowing / talking does not protect you from frauded.
Well, what is protected is the sources. We know that. That's absolutely, except for you, Hanakawa. Let's talk about how you came to the show. Hanakawa.
I wasn't a protected source, okay?
You were for a while. So Hanakawa, I met as a source on Instagram. And we got to briefly say why you were source. She was married.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
That's
she was
fine.
married to Ben of Ben and Akini, and they have
sorry for you.
I know. We can sing Little Toot song.
A beautiful, beautiful son, Grayson, that you met on the show. And even though he was sick with strep throat that day.
Yes.
So you gave me some information behind the scenes about him on Instagram, and then you decided you agreed to talk. Like, you and I had been talking, and
it kind of came peripherally because I didn't want to talk to you.
No,
I didn't want to talk to you because it was his siblings that were mainly like, you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to this person because, she'll whatever. At the time, I was a very spiteful, bitter person because of the whole thing. It was still fresh, like the divorce
a couple years ago.
I don't want to say divorce was still fresh, but like I was in a position of like struggling, taking care of Grayson by myself. And so seeing him on a show I watched, because like I didn't watch the show because of him. I watched a show and he so happened to like be on it, which like, I don't know, in my personal, like my bubble, like he offended my space.
Yes,
exactly.
and came onto like the show that I like bonded with my mom with this bullshit. So it's like, oh my God.
And he was putting out false information, right?
Well,
so I wanted to correct
now
it.
Now I know the fuckery of like producers and stuff, because when I first watched it with my mom, well, the first one she did get me hooked on was Danielle's season, because she was like, holy shit, look at this. He's not even going to kiss her. Oh my God, send him back. Send him back. And she was like all ruffled and stuff over it. And I was like, it's just a show, Mom. She's like, no. Sit down.
It's not just a show.
Get invested.
Get invested, yes. She was like, fine. I was like, fine. We'll watch it.
Pull up a chair, have a seat. Let's go.
Pull up a chair, have a seat. So, like, yeah, it's really interesting because I go back. What was that? 2019?
I think so.
No.
2018?
Oh, it was before it was definitely before COVID, I think.
Before COVID,
we
but I
all
can't
started
remember
being
when
friends.
I started.
Maybe it was 2018. Yeah, it was before COVID, definitely. But it was
we started in the fall of 2018, I think.
No, what season was like Jeffrey and Tom Brooks? What season was that? I feel like that was when I started to talk to you guys.
That's when you started to talk to us, but we had already been on for a while.
Let me dare.
I mean,
Google my name.
you were in our world early on in this journey, but not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was 2019.
Yeah.
Benjamin's ex-wife spills an all new podcast episode. Oh my God.
That's right.
Oh my fucking God.
So you were my fourth episode. And of course I didn't have a co-host or anything. I just knew I'd put all this work into this podcast and I had to figure something out. And so
right.
I was figuring it out on the fly, literally every day. I was just trying to figure out what the hell was happening. And so I'd come across Hanakawa and we'd talked and I asked her if she'd be willing to come on the show. And of course I was like, you can talk, whatever you want. I'm not going to like force you to talk about things you don't want to talk about. That's just my interview style. Right. And she agreed, but she also agreed to co-host.
Welcome, everybody. I am here today with a special guest co-host and a special interview that will happen at the end of the podcast. Let me introduce you to Hanakawa.
Hello.
I butchered that, didn't I?
That is totally fine. So it's pronounced Hanakawa, and I would never expect someone to know since it's a Japanese anime character that, I don't know, I liked, so I chose that name when I chose Instagram.
And then I was like, needed a co-host again. And then I needed one again. And then it worked out so well that
it worked fine because I did a gaming podcast at the time. So I was doing your podcast and gaming podcast kind of like on the same day. So I was like, well, if I'm going to sit in this fucking chair anyways, I will talk about, reality TV, and that's fine.
Yeah. So we got the journey of that. And then, so we were just doing, and we were trying to figure out like our format and what was working. And it was different than what I had envisioned with Talker because we were different people. And, we were figuring out what worked and what didn't on a daily basis. And then we came across Agency. We do have to talk about Agency.
Where is Agency?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think he's living his best life right now. Yeah. Yeah.
We came across Agency. I guess he was big on Reddit and he was a former visa officer, consulate officer. So he knew all of the ins and outs of the visa process. He used to interview people for the visas, for the fiance visas and all the visas or whatever from China during a period of time. So he had all the subject matter expertise and he was a good fit with us for, these guest episodes. And then he became a full-time co-host. Then our format changed and it was like this whole thing and it kind of didn't work. We got a lot of bad reviews on specific things we were doing. And
it started out hopeful. I think it was like that phenomenon where something is great, but too much of it isn't. You know how like running is good for you? Sure. But if you run too much, you're going to have fucked up knees when you get older. That's what an Agency was for our podcast. Like he was really good in small spurts to help with questions. But I think when we consumed him full time, I think that just put a different change, I don't know, in the pH of the podcast. And it just didn't.
The pH of the podcast.
The podcast pH levels. Or too acidic.
Spoken like a true somebody who works in particular area.
I know. I can't get the tech out of my head, but
so he came on full time. Our format changed. We were much more produced and we had scripts and he would write the scripts and it was this whole thing. And then we were recording a Patreon episode. It was the episode.
It was the hotel one.
The hotel one.
It was the hotel one.
Where you were telling your hotel stories.
He checked out of the hotel early.
He did. So he stopped us mid-recording. He's like, hang on a second. And then he came back and he was like, I gotta go. We're like, okay. Obviously something came up. We figured it was an emergency, whatever. Hanakawa and I finished the podcast. If you listen to that episode, you will hear the difference. You will hear at the point at which he checked out.
You guys, I gotta jump off.
Okay.
Something came up. I need to take care of right now.
Okay.
Do we want to finish this later?
Maybe we should. I think we probably
feel
have
like
the
we need all
bandwidth
three of
to.
us.
Yeah. I saw his face too. I was like, oh no, hope he's okay.
I thought like the CIA was at the door though. Like it looked like somebody died. Honestly, it looked super serious. The look on his face was like terror, and I was like, okay, well, you go take care of your business. But then we didn't hear from him.
Yeah.
But there was nothing like a hey, I'm alive, or I wasn't taken back to some regime and answering for my sins or something like that.
There was abducted by aliens.
There was no communication. And then finally you reached out, we're like, are you alive? And it was like, yeah, I just can't do this anymore. It's like, okay.
We were like, okay. And he didn't say why he couldn't do it. He just said he couldn't because of whatever.
Something was going on, and that's
something was
fine.
going on.
But it led us to speculate. I'm like, okay, is his kid sick? Is his ex-wife dying? Did he get in trouble
because he had a kid with his ex-wife that we didn't know. Oh yeah.
Did he get in trouble for talking? Did someone figure out who he was?
Right.
Like what happened? Like there was only so much action because he had started a YouTube.
Yeah,
he put out a few videos that were actually doing well, and he stopped doing that.
He was really he digging into the agency show on YouTube, and
he was like posting on Instagram, but he did like one phantom post like a few months later, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
So,
and he used to answer questions after every episode about like the Anna and Marcel thing when Marcel went back to Turkey and came back under the same visa and all this other stuff. Like he was always really good source for that stuff. And then he literally ghosted us in the middle of an episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I say I hope he's okay. I hope wherever he is and whatever he's doing, he's happy.
Yeah.
But that was the most bizarre experience ever. And we couldn't
I'm sorry.
We couldn't answer to why he left. So of course, with our fucked up reputation already, it's like, well, would you guys just like kick him out or you go kill him or something? It was just kind of like, no, we just honestly can't tell you because we don't fucking know.
Yeah. Literally ghosted us. I'm sure we have the recording of it somewhere.
That's really cute. That's historic.
I'm sure it's in our archives of our
the never heard footage agency leaves.
But then he's gone, right? And then I'm like looking at my Instagram stories. How you can see who viewed your stories? I don't generally look at it, but sometimes I would do. And I saw that he had viewed my stories, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, you're alive. You're alive. and you're interested in stories, which is okay.
All right. You're not going to reach out and say hi? I thought we were friends. No? Okay.
I don't know, guys. You did something to him.
I know. I'm sitting here like, I'm like, did what? I don't know. It's like being in a relationship where like all of a sudden the guy just like disappears.
That's the story of my life, guys.
You're like, I didn't bring the toothbrush over. I have not brought over the box of tampons to stay at your place. Like,
nope.
I didn't suggest a cat. So what is it? Like,
you like my dogs when he would come over and record here. And then like for his birthday, we got him like the headphones and microphone, like the fancy ones, because he wasn't, whatever. And so we were like, and we were prepared, like all this stuff was happening behind the scenes with like our advertising company and all of this stuff. And it was like, we were about to cut him into the advertising revenue and things like that. And then all of a sudden, poof, like it was just gone.
Maybe he thought the advertising revenue was more than it was. When people hear you have sponsors, they're like, oh my God, you must be making millions or something like that. And it's like, you're funny. It's like
making millions, guys.
Yeah. Making millions here.
No, like the couple $100 that we get from here and there, from our, yes, I know a lot of people think, oh my God, they had so many ads, but podcasting ain't free, guys. So, what was interesting about that whole experience is that it helped change us, right? Like we went to this really produced show then and people didn't like it. And we had all these sound effects and these segments and all these things, and it didn't work. People didn't like it. And so when he left, and we sort of just stopped doing that, because Hanakawa and I were both full-time working, and that's the other thing, is the agency wasn't working full-time at that point. So he had all this time in the world, and he didn't have a family with him. He had his girlfriend who lived there, you know, whatever, but that was it. Not that that's not family, but
it was helpful. I mean, the idea of where it was going was helpful. Having an idea of what the fuck we were going to talk about before we got on the mic was probably good. You know, professionals probably think about what they're going to do before they get on a podcast.
And we started doing Katrina and Hanakawa Unplugged.
Yeah, we were just kind of like, so did you even watch the show this weekend? Or
I saw this on Instagram, and we know this, and some of the tea started to dry up around that point, because what was the episode? I think it was
around Juliana and Michael's season, where TLC started hammering down really, really hard on anyone who was leaking. And they changed it to, if anyone you know leaks, you get in trouble. So you can't have your best friend do it, things like that. Like the contract kind of started, you know, buttoning up all the buttons, and people were, I think the cast was actually terrified of stuff coming out.
Yeah, based on the conversations behind the scenes that I had with some cast members, that was the season where everybody was like, that I talked to was like, oh, I'd love to, let me talk to TLC. And TLC never grants interviews or anything. So I was like, okay, whatever. You know, it's fine. And I'm not going to try to get anything that's under NDA. Like if you know, we're not going to do that to you on the air or anything like that. But people wouldn't do it.
It's always been an offering if you want to come, and people just weren't coming. And so I actually have a question for Danielle. When leaks come out, and I don't think you had leaks because your show was fucking
back
authentic.
then.
Yeah. Back then we weren't on Instagram like hunting, but do you know like now when leaks come out, like how quick is TLC to like zoom in on a cast member and be like, what the fuck?
Usually pretty quick, because I had an incident where I did a not Cameo, but the other one that I'm on. I did a phone call with some fans, and they contacted me the next day.
Oh wow.
Wow. What did you say?
Stuff that was said in it got to them.
Oh,
I was like, how the hell did that happen?
Did they try to like halt your pay? Like what can you tell us?
They didn't try to halt my pay, because I told them, I said, listen, this is my real life. My stuff is not made up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fake, actually.
It's real.
Right, exactly. I'm just like, it just seems like they swoop down so quickly, and then the mood of the cast members really change. Like they're loosey goosey, and then the next day they're like, actually, can you not? Can you not do that?
I don't understand
hold on. Yes.
How Jabral and Mona are out there posting pictures and stuff already.
Sometimes I wonder if they care or not. So can we detour? I know we're talking about agency, but I'm kind of done with him.
We're moving on.
We're over it.
So if we want to fast forward to how the tea did start drying up, but it kind of came back in before the 90 days with Stephanie and
that season. What was that season? Stephanie and Erica?
Wait, that was with agency though. That was a little bit before. But there was
the season with Ash and Tom and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That season emotionally drained me. And
can we dive into the situation with Ash, because we ate shit.
Yes, we did.
Over Ash.
Mm-hmm. He lied over and over to different people, and we took the hit for it. We basically ate the pin for it. That was this. Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say it really started with him reaching out and kind of giving us a hint that him and was it Avery? What was her name?
Yes,
Avery at the time weren't doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And
in real life,
it was like, okay, he's like, I still love her, but she's having issues with her ex doing X, Y, and Z. and he's trying to get in and start rumors and stuff. Like, I guess his ex started like a fake Instagram, like the truth about Avery.
Right.
And it was like leaking the legal documents of their divorce and trying to paint
custody
her
issues
as being a terrible mother and why she doesn't have custody of your kid. Like personal shit that really didn't belong online or whatever. But he was trying to bring her down. I've been in that I've been there.
Yeah, that's not in our wheelhouse of stuff that we.
But at that point, we had stopped really caring about putting out people legal documents, things like that. But Ash was asking what we could help with. Okay, and we ended up really not being able to help because the way Ash worked is he would give you a boatload of information, and then at the end go, oh, you know what? No, don't say anything. Don't do anything. And so you're like, okay, I respect your wishes, not going to do anything. And then he wanted to expose her and Tom like flirting with each other, which we did as he gave permission to leak the information.
And he liked to give us screenshots of stuff.
Screenshots and voice messages and videos. And he was one of the people that, instrumentally helped leak some of the tell-all that came out.
Yes.
And yeah,
and we're not protecting him because he fucked us over, so we don't care.
He's fine. He's fine. Whatever.
It's fine. It doesn't matter now.
He did a world tour with all the Instagram. What the hell do they call bloggers?
Yeah,
we don't blog. We post fucking pictures. But he went on a tour with them to see who's going to pick the story up, who's going to believe the sob story at the time. And when we put the information out that he said it was okay to put out, all of a sudden. It wasn't okay to put out because the night before, him and his off and on, Avery were deciding they were going to try again. And this coming out changed her mind. Not our fault. Not our issue. So then he went on this like tour.
He tells us to put this stuff out and we have it as evidence proof. Like we're not just going to put random shit out. Like,
and then he goes, well, they put it out. I'm like, okay, if we rewind everything, who are you going to blame? Why did you reach out to people online and give them information at all? Like, what was your point in doing all that? You just wanted to vent? Like, there is so much, and it's not an invitation to do it, but there is so much that we have. Like, I may not have it anymore. It was an old phone.
No, I have an entire album that's called Ash.
Messages and
I swear to God,
all screenshots and everything that could have been put out.
All of his
could have really harmed him.
He liked to communicate in voice memos, so he would just sit there and he would leave, and then he would call.
Yes, he would call.
He would call.
Oh my God.
In his car for like an hour, and at the end of the call, you're like, I don't remember what we talked about because it was just this like. It was this like rambling of stuff, which you're like, okay, I'm glad you're getting this out. That's great. I'm glad. But at the same time, you're just like that mentally and emotionally. He like an emotional vampire and he exhausted everyone.
Was.
So
then,
it was.
But also that season we had, what's her name with the Williams? And Uche.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that season?
Yeah. That was really good, guys. Like,
that was fun though.
But Uche is a time sucker, an energy sucker also. And
let's skip over to that one. Let's be our true selves, our true Fraudcast selves.
Please.
And ADD on over to somebody else.
Let's clear up some of the misunderstandings that have happened over the years about shit people blamed us for. Because we have integrity.
This one was fun though. So
this one was fun.
The Williams one, I think everyone was going to do it eventually. Mm-hmm. But I saw the guy on the TV. I was like,
you did it before the season started.
Oh, because I'm fucking crazy. I just reverse imaged the picture they had on there. It was like, okay, so she's dating this Italian stock model. This Italian weightlifting stock model. It was stock footage shot by this guy in Italy, which I messaged him in Italian. Okay, Google Translate, which was probably awful.
Yes. Oh, I did that too.
I probably sounded like some illiterate, Is this your photo? Do you know it's on an American TV show? That's all I said. He goes, it's stock photo. Whatever people buy it for, I don't care. Whatever. And then a week later, he goes, what show? just what show? I was like, okay, it's 90 Day Fiance. He goes, can't watch here. Need help. What show?
Ooh.
And I'm like, okay.
This is how you can watch it on YouTube or whatever.
You can't watch 90 Day Fiance in Italy. I was like, okay. So I sent him the video clips and he goes, oh, okay.
This was the model, right?
No, this was the model's photographer. Right. And then the model reached out to me and was like, what show is this? I'm like, okay, I don't know anything. Italian mafia looking man. I don't want any trouble. No, he was really handsome though. But I think he was gay, because all of the pictures on his Facebook, he was like holding hands with the guy. But anyways, he was a bodybuilder. He was a very famous bodybuilder in Italy. And so I'm like, this makes no sense. The context of the fucking show. So I'm like, over here, I'm like, okay, this guy is supposed to be an Englishman named Williams, whatever. And so I'm like sharing like snippets of and footage of this to the true model guy. And he's just like so confused.
He doesn't understand American reality.
He's so
TV.
confused. He goes, what is the email for this show or whatever? And so I gave them the only TLC contacts I personally had. And then he said, thank you. And that was the last I heard from the photographer. And the Michael guy sent me a message on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn. I'm like, what? How did you find my LinkedIn? I'm creeped out now. Oh. My LinkedIn isn't linked to anything with my name. So anyways. Anyways. So it's not it wasn't him. It was stock footage, but I think we learned that they didn't have the rights to put the original photos up that Yolanda did receive. And so they went and just found stock photos of some unbelievably hot guy.
So these were not the pictures.
And probably didn't think anything of it. So the pictures we saw were not the pictures that Yolanda fell in love with. So that was kind of a little bit. Yeah. So, we're thinking, oh yeah, she thinks she's getting with this hot guy right here, but it really wasn't. It was some other dude.
Just what the TLC got the rights to.
Right.
They couldn't get the originals. So then at some point, I don't remember how this initially transpired, but somehow Uche, did he reach out to us? We reached out to him.
Uche
we commented on a picture together or something. And we were like, the way he's talking on her pictures makes it sound like he's in a relationship with her. So
right. The internet sleuth did work. And what is her handle?
Yolanda?
No. The IG that the guy that went to jail got taken down.
Jeffrey. Oh,
Starcasm. Yeah. We'll get to that, right? Starcasm. Starcasm had a lot of information, and he really dived into the conversation.
It's a she.
It's a she. I thought we said
it is. No,
you got me all freaking confused.
We're not supposed to share the real information.
They. Okay, they.
We'll call them they. Non-binary. Person behind the sarcasm. Editing.
They dived into the conversation, and some of those names were still on Instagram. So what do? Of course, we're going to send them messages. And Uche reaches out and goes, everyone is saying that I am some scammer, and I'm not scamming. I'm Yolanda's real boyfriend or something like that.
Everyone thought it might be the Williams, right? Because there's this Nigerian guy who has a weird Instagram and all of this stuff.
And so we thought that this was like a Nigerian account or person who was behind the scamming. And we thought we had figured something out, right?
We did. It just wasn't what we thought it was.
It wasn't what we thought it was, because what it was is Yolanda and him were already in the cahoots talking.
Mm-hmm. This is not the Williams. This is somebody else, some other Nigerian Yahoo boy she was talking to.
Right. And the conversation was leading to like, hey, it's okay. We're just going to message. She kind of like set him up to take the fall, to be the scammer. But he thought that he was really in a relationship with Yolanda, and that he was going to send her money because his restaurant burnt down or something. Dude, Danielle, the stuff that I can see the disbelief. Like what?
I was like, wait, what? A lot of this stuff is never before revealed stuff that we've never talked about.
I think it's okay for the 100th episode, right?
I think so. Yes, revealing the true stories behind some of these.
But it's just the snaking that happened. But then going back to what you were saying, Frauded, is once you got him on like the phone or live, because you did a live with him.
I did.
He wouldn't shut up.
Mm-mm.
I was just like, how are you going to end it? Like, and his internet connection was terrible.
Yeah, he was doing it from work. He had gotten into a place because like his boss, like they heard about this and they thought that, this whole, Uche's a scammer. He's the Williams and, all of this stuff. And his boss, I guess, this is what he told me anyway, is that his boss was freaking out and didn't want Uche to be a scammer. He really wanted to clear his name. So he wanted to do an interview. So we did an Instagram live, which is actually now up on my YouTube, and it's still there. Still one of my highest numbers as far as views. Interview. Yeah. And his internet connection was terrible. And I think a lot of people still didn't understand what happened, what the story was after that, because, but the bottom line, Tildeer, is that he was, courting Yolanda, and there were some, I would say racy pictures, but they weren't really that racy, in comparison to
Yolanda was posting racy pics.
Well, considering I have an entire album on my phone called 90 Day Dick, like it wasn't racy in comparison to those pictures.
No, what happened is she lost weight, and
Danielle's just like, holy shit.
And she wanted to show it off, but on top of that, like Uche got a little bit of popularity too, right? And then he started ending up in people's inboxes.
Oh yeah, he was sliding into people's DMs.
And being like, "Oh baby, you're so cute," or something like that.
Wow. And he tried to get all personal with me, like, "How's your life? Like, what's your kids do? Like, all this stuff." I'm like, Stop
acting like a scammer.
No, I don't want no Yahoo boys here. And then that season was Tom. And I had those girls contact me because they saw Tom on this and they were like, this is Daisy and what was her name? What was the other girl's name that were on Tom's season at the bar? She was supposed to be his ex-girlfriend.
Oh, the fake British girls.
Yeah. So those two girls had reached out to me and they were like, we see Tom on this. And then, they're saying this and that he's trying to pretend like he has all this money, but he doesn't. And he asked us, like, I barely knew him. And I only knew him in this context. Like we'd had lunch once for like a networking thing. And then suddenly he asked me to pretend like I'm his girlfriend. So it was this whole, like, she pretended this whole scene. She told us all this stuff that it was all fake and pretend. And, they had to do reshoots.
We're used to Tom pretending.
Yeah. And that was when all of that stuff came out, right? Yeah. All of the stuff that I actually just.
But no. Tom was like throwing parties, selling his freaking mushroom coffee.
That was after this.
That's what you guys baited me to go hang out with him.
Can we fast forward to that?
Yes. when Anna hung out with Tom?
No, because that was actually the most exciting for me. I was like, hold up. We got boots on the ground. Let's go. Let's talk.
Anna went to a party. Anna, why didn't you pick it up from here?
Yeah, okay, which party was it?
And why and how and what happened?
He threw himself a party, and then you said, I think Frauded had contacted me, like, he's throwing a party. Where is this in proximity to your house? And I said, Matt, it's about 10 miles, 10 minutes away.
Because he was living in Queens or Long Island City.
He was in Long Island City and he was whatever. So then she goes, Anna, what could we do to get you to go? I was like, nothing. I'll go for free. Why not? So
it was a Saturday night. Like, what the hell? Why not?
It was
you got
January.
All dressed up to the nines.
I put like leather pants on. It was a whole to do. And the photographer that he hired to take pictures, I was the only like pretty attractive girl that was in the bar, like, because he had his little fangirls there.
You
and
were
there was,
probably the most attractive girl there.
I'm not trying to be like a bitch or whatever.
No,
but, like,
I saw the girls. Yeah.
So the photographer pulled me and just started snapping photos of us, and it went viral. And then Fraud is like, "What's going on?" I'm like, honestly, and I swear to God, like I would tell you guys, like nothing. He just pulled me because I was the only one like dressed nice and like whatever, because he wanted to make Darcy jealous. So that's where I
the
came.
girlfriend was there, wasn't she?
Oh, and then there was a girl.
Hair?
He was living with the girl,
the short blonde hair girl.
So the photographer took pictures of me with him, and then that one with him. So that's how that happened. And then he was living with her.
Live on Instagram with you from the party.
He was squatting in the Island City girl's house for months, living in America. And he was. And then finally, I think it was right before COVID. He couldn't stand her anymore because he would text me and just tell me his life story. Like, I can't stand her. And she's annoying. You want to get dinner? You want to get drink? I'm like, no. And then
I'll only go so far for the Fraud.
Yeah. I mean, I love you guys.
I have standards.
I have a little bit of the standards. And then he disappeared. I think he went back to marry.
Can you imagine if Tom wanted to come and stay at your place?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, squatting is thing,
pretending, and you're a hot girl.
Danielle had one for years, she knows. Right?
Yeah, the squatter.
Oh, that blows my mind. All I know is that from that night.
No, it was before COVID. He went back to, he went back across the pond, and then that's when he met the new girl, Maria, whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I had phone calls from him too.
And then Jeffrey Paschal was another one.
He called me out of the blue.
Did Tom ever come back? Because that was actually a question. I think you solved the question I had. Was how the hell was Tom over here for so long?
I think he kept flying in and out of England.
Just kept coming back.
Yeah, I mean it's open, right? They didn't need a visa.
People were assuming because he was saying I'm home. I'm living in New York now, and no, there's not an issue with like people from England usually coming over, but there was the question of like, is he here now? Is he just chilling? Because usually people in the 90 Day Fiance show, the idea of it is getting them a visa, but obviously Tom didn't fucking need help. That was just carrying on with Darcy's madness.
Yeah, he told me that he went back he was going back to England because of COVID and everything else, and that's where, because his mom's there. His mom's, got bad health, and his sister's there. And now they're on Pillow Talk, or they were at least. I don't know what they're doing now, but that was exhausting. So this was all the same season, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm getting phone calls from Uche, I'm getting phone calls from Ash, I'm getting phone calls from Tom. And it was just draining me. And that also the Emily and what's his name season?
Emily and
the Russian guy.
No. I don't.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Think so. I would have to look. I know that it was for sure Stephanie and God, what is the I say nerds because her hair was the nerds colors, but what was her name? Erica. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that season,
well, we have a new
season was a fucking blast, man.
I would at the end of that season.
We have a new bi-colored hair now.
I have Jabri, guys. We should just talk about that. I want Danielle's opinion on the newbies. What do you think of all of them? And who do you think is the star, has the star
this current season?
This current season.
Who's real and who's not? Go.
Jabral and Mona are fake.
They're trying to be Instagram famous. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to be Instagram famous. I mean, who goes and sells a pair of pants that you wear?
Oh yeah, pink pants, the split,
and the matching outfits. They look like Ice Capades and Liberace. Yeah. It's crazy.
They're just selling it on the wrong venue. You're supposed to sell your clothing items on OnlyFans,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emily and her dude. I don't know if they're gonna make it if she keeps bossing him around.
Right.
We love Kobe. We're like Kobe #1 fans. I feel like I love.
If I was him, I'd be going back. But I think the only thing that's keeping him here is his son.
Right.
Yes.
And then Shida and Bala, whatever his name is, I'd leave in a heartbeat because he's just treating her like a kid.
While we're talking about, hey, once we get Danielle's opinion on all this, I want Anna to talk about what she found on Bilal.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
All right, so keep going. Bilal, so she thinks no one's gonna make it anymore, basically.
Yeah, basically, because they're all, yeah.
Ariella and Benny, what is your opinion on them?
Not too sure about them. Eve and Muhammad.
Okay,
Yeah.
go there. Please go there for me, because I've talked about
They're
this on
trying
the show.
to recreate your storyline 100
Yes.
times, and they're failing miserably. Just
Yes.
saying.
I've talked about this on episodes where, this young North African guy type of, from Tunisia, from
Turkey, from
wherever.
Egypt. Yeah.
There's this whole class. I mean, I always called them Tunisian levrats, but they may be something else, but they're these young guys. They're usually like Instagram models. They want to be fitness models. They don't have a ton of education. They're not going to move up in the class in the countries that they're at. So what they do is they prey on these older white women from the Western countries.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is happening with Eve and what's his name?
Muhammad.
Another Muhammad. What do you think, Danielle, about, so there's been lots of Muslim men on the show, but very few of them actually adhere to a lot of the Muslim principles and rules, as it were. We all saw famously that Muhammad wouldn't kiss you at your wedding because Ramadan.
Yeah.
I think personally he was just using that as a convenient excuse. Let's invoke your religion when it's convenient for you. And we see this with, in varying degrees with the other Muslim men.
Usman is another one.
We know that they all slept with, like, we know Muhammad and Eve slept together because, they justified it by saying, well, we're going to be together forever, so it's okay. We're going to get married anyway.
Right. And I mean, and during Ramadan, I mean, you can kiss and hug your partner.
Right.
And sex is allowed during Ramadan if you're married. The only time it's not allowed is during the fast, I believe. That's the only time that you can say, hey, we can't bone until sunset. Fine. Who's having day sex anyways?
I did yesterday. No, wait.
But I'm just saying, like, if anyone did a little bit of I don't know, it just busts all their lies if they tell, but whatever.
I want to know Danielle's opinion about, if you can share it, given I know that you have some contract with TLC right now, and I don't want you to violate anything there, but what do you think, what is produced? I mean, I'm at the point where I think everything on the show this season is completely producer driven. I don't even see kernels of truth in some of these storylines, but I may be just cynical at this point. What do you see as producer driven? You had talked in a previous interview with the Fraudcast about how your season was very little producer driven, right? Like there might have been one scene where they asked you to meet up here and have a conversation, but for the most part, everything was just what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you see in this current season about how much do you think is authentic and how much is producer driven?
I think at least 60% of it is producer driven. I really do.
Okay.
I mean, who gets mad like that over water on the floor?
Well, it turns out that's not his house.
Oh, there's tea on that, right?
Uh-huh. Talk about it.
It's not my tea.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And who and I
don't want to miss.
Producers probably set up about Eve wearing the underwear under that see-through dress to cause.
That was completely producer.
First of all, who would wear black panties through a see-through pink dress on purpose? That was totally fake. And then Bilal's house, we found major tea about that it's fake. Basically, I sent it to Frauded. It states that he doesn't own any property, and these are all staged homes because he's a realtor. So the fact that she was putting the pins into the couch, he got pissed because at any point somebody could pop into the house and be like, all right, we're buying it. And it's staged, so you get all the furniture. So that's why he's so OCD with how it,
So is he a flipper? Because he does have property in his name. not to be creepy. Like he has a couple properties, but is he buying them and flipping them and selling them?
Is he like Chuck? Like living
Yeah, like it seems to be passing through him legally at some point.
I don't know. I mean, just somebody I found this whole tea, and like then they found the house like online, and that he was renting it. So it's just like big old joke, because kind of reminds me of Michael Jessen, that guy, like full of crap too.
Yeah.
So it's like they pretend they're like these baller, like rich dudes, when in reality they're not.
Searching for just the right job? Whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal work, you can get started today. Amazon Jobs offers the whole package with great pay and flexible shifts that allow you to choose when and how much you work. Find a warehouse close to home and discover the role that works for you. To get your application started for an hourly job, go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, there is a nice piece of stock music playing behind me that a talented composer worked really hard on. So let's enjoy it. Wow, almost overshadows the saving big when you switch to Progressive part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
They're renting their wealth.
Well, and Michael and his house, that went into foreclosure.
Yeah, that one's going. But for Bilal, like, you remember when he was like, this house has been empty for 15 years? And I'm like, you're a real estate guy, right? You know that a house sitting empty for 15 years is stupid. So I guess I don't understand, like, why aren't you renting it out? Because I know it's like someone said it's his childhood home or whatever, but these are Reddit people.
So which house are we talking about? We're talking about the house he
pranks her with.
Okay,
that's producer driven as well. I mean, that was ridiculous.
That wasn't his house, right? Or it was, or that's the only one that's
supposedly that was his childhood home,
right?
But people took offense to it because it looked like her home where she was from, and so it was kind of like they did a comparison of her home versus the house he took her to, like the same kind of level of quality home, and they're just like, why is that a prank? But supposedly, there's only so much truth to it, but supposedly it's a childhood home of his or something like that,
and that's the only one that's in his name. Like the one that are living in now is not. It's a model home.
I think so. I don't even.
That's what the tea is. I mean, that's the word out there is that
when it comes to the real estate people, I don't freaking know because
remember the other realtor, Jonathan and Fernanda, he was full of crapple as well. So another one who just like to send dick pics out to every woman.
Okay.
I'm going to mute my mic so you can go on.
We need to talk about dick pics because this is a huge part of the frauded legacy, apparently. Okay. I want to clear up some stuff on this. One,
how many pics do you actually have?
The guiding principle here is that
what's the ratio of how many pics? Yeah. Like the pics you ask for versus the pics you get.
Okay. So
he has a collection like Ariel.
I have a collection of dick pics that are every single one is unsolicited. Now, the reason, so this is a big deal because there was a thing that happened, and I want to clear up that controversy too. But I want to start with the guiding principle that I never ask for dick pics. They get sent to me in a variety of ways, either by the owner of the dick or by other people who have received them also unsolicited. Some have been solicited. I don't know. It started with Colt, I think. That season 6 was Colt. And Colt likes to send his dick pics out. So I have multiple ones of him, including video. And that's where, he's really, really small. Okay. Then we had Penisgate number 1, which was Jonathan, right?
Yes.
So Jonathan, it's right. And Anna, you met Jonathan. I forgot about that.
That was interesting because I was working for a marketing company and we did an event in Florida and he was one of the celebrity people to come out. And then he started he like started liking my pictures, started liking my friends' pictures, and then started to just send his dick out to like every girl that was attractive on my Instagram. So he was using my Instagram as a bait for himself, which blew up his own spot because he was getting divorced. So then he sent all of my girlfriends that were semi-attractive his picture of his dick, and it was the same photo, the same exact photo. So everybody would store it in their cell phone, and it would revert back to December 21st and go like into the photo.
As you can see when it was taken, because he wasn't even smart enough to take like a new screenshot of it, so that metadata would be new.
So then he was like putting out his new relationship, whatever. He was still sending my friends DMs. He finally sends another girl a DM. Are you up? Blah, blah, blah. And it was clearly post-pandemic, clearly after he got engaged to the new girl, blah, blah, blah. His Instagram got shadow banned. He was whatever. And that one in particular can't even speak to anybody because his wife or whoever she is now, baby mother, completely like ruined his life. And he was bad because I think he would just drink and send his dick out to 20 to 30 women a night. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Wow. It was crazy.
And this was after the video of that Fernanda accidentally went live. Mm-hmm. This was the original penis gate, is that Fernanda quote unquote accidentally went
showed
live
his schlong. Oh my God.
With a video of him and his schlong, and they're talking. And that was the original one. And it got blasted to every blogger out there. Collectively, each blogger individually made the decision, we're not posting this, because this is like one of the first, this is when it first started to happen. This hadn't been something that we were normally used to at that point, thank God. But now, like, everybody had this video, and none of us were going to post it because that's illegal, right? Like, it would be revenge porn type of thing. None of us were going to post it, but we sure as hell were going to talk about the incident, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with talking about the incident. But then, no, Jonathan and I had already had a little dust up.
He can't stand me either. He hates my guts too.
He and I had already had a dust up because I was making fun of him because he had 8,000 stories up on his Instagram. And I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. You don't need this much. You're too thirsty. And I was posting about this because I was just being a dick, right? And then he and I got into this like conversation where he's like, called me a clown blogger. And he said, even Colt has more, he said this publicly, even Colt has more followers than you. And then Colt got mad, and that brought him into it, and it became this huge dust up. And they even talked about it on the fucking Sean asked them about, well, why do you and Colt hate each other? And they started to talk about it, but they couldn't get into it because TLC won't acknowledge who I am, which is fine, whatever, you know? But then Fernanda and Jonathan started sending out. So at that point, Jonathan had blocked me, but Fernanda sent me a message, and I know Jonathan was sending messages out too, that asking us to take everything down about the situation, and that he was going to sue us if we didn't. And yeah, I'm right. Like, there's nothing to sue us for because you're a public figure. And I started quoting defamation and libel law to him because I looked it up. I do a podcast where I blast people. So I looked up, I knew that the law was on this, and I'm blasting out like New York versus Sullivan, which is like the seminal case on this. You're a public figure, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing we're doing is illegal. None of us are sharing the picture. It's fine, And then there was another one. I think it was Colt, and nobody cared as much. And for the record, Jonathan is perfectly average. He's not huge. He's not small. He's perfectly average. And that's probably the worst comment anybody could say to him, is that his penis is perfectly average. But so that was that whole situation. And then it sort of developed in more. And then people became like, if you have a dick pic from anybody, I'm going to send it to Frauded. I don't know how this happened, but it maybe because I don't know why, but I started getting more and more pictures. And it sort of became this thing. And we were talking about, like, just don't send us unsolicited dick pics. Like, it's never solicited. Like, nobody's ever asking for a dick pic. Just don't do it, guys, please. And they do it to all these women, and the women send them to me, and they're like, I was just talking to him and he seemed kind of sweet. So, and then this happened, type of thing. And then I remember, okay, so Emily and whatever, I forget his name. the Russian guy she married.
Sasha.
Sasha,
yeah,
that's right. So Emily
Wow.
already didn't like me because I had made a post making fun of her for the season episode where she was just bitching about Sasha never being there and how motherhood was hard. I'm like, yeah, motherhood's fucking hard. Well, water is also wet. Like, it's difficult. And she was like, oh, but I was all postpartum, which wasn't said on the show. So I didn't know that she was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety and all this stuff. But she put it out there that that's what was happening and that I was making fun of this and blah, blah, blah. And that's totally not what happened. But so many people took my post the wrong way that obviously my intention wasn't clear and it wasn't okay. So I took the post down and I apologized publicly for it.
There was so much around it. Like the context itself, if you chop just the conversation, it does really paint that bad light on it.
Oh, my conversation with Sasha?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But what was missed is like, remember when I used to do the Naughty Time Saturday Night Lives?
Uh-huh.
And he was in there and we would all joke about sex and dicks and and drugs and things like that. And so like all of that was missed. I'm like, if you thought your husband was a perfect angel online.
Yes. And that's, I think, ultimately
he
what
was
the bottom line
totally not. And I wasn't going to get into it. I was like, whatever, believe it. Whatever needs to save your marriage, whatever needs
I didn't
to
care
go,
that much.
just go. If you really think that Sasha is trying to go after a fucking, Instagram blogger, if
think
your
that I was actually
relationship
trying
is
to go
that
after
crumbly right now, then you guys need to step aside and go do something else.
Right. So what had happened was I had somehow been in a conversation with Sasha on Instagram. I think he might have been in my DMs first about something. And we would have these conversations, stupid conversations about like what I was eating. Like, oh, well, here's a bowl of fruit I'm eating. And he's like, oh, good fruit, and I'm like, oh, and then I don't know, just stupid shit like that. There was nothing deeper than that, but we would have this we had this ongoing long conversation. In that conversation, at some point, I said to him that I was talking with girlfriends and we were contemplating what his manhood looked like. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, I care to enlighten us. And then he laughed. He made a ha ha ha. And that was it.
Which could have just been him just saying or joking, yeah, it's super big or whatever. Or all the fruit made it gigantic. Like there could have been fun had with it, right?
But all he said was LOL, whatever. And that was it. Emily got wind of this. I think she went through Sasha's DMs because, has a history of cheating and stuff. And so she was going through his DMs. She already didn't like me from that earlier post and something else. And she never let it go, even though I apologized. Her choice. That's fine. Whatever. She decided that she took what I said and said that I was asking for dick pics and naked pictures of her husband. Not exactly what I said, but okay, I can see maybe it was an inappropriate conversation to have. But in the context of our longer conversation and his participation in your Saturday, Hanakawa After Dark lives, it wasn't out of the realm of, what we were talking about. I wasn't asking him for a dick pic. I was saying, I was joking that we were talking about it. Would you share? Would you care to enlighten us? Meaning, tell us about it, not give me a dick pic. But I can see how it was perceived. I can also, like, my husband wasn't happy with it, so I had to talk to him about it and apologize. And I made this apology. She kept posting this, and it became this huge war. Like all these other bloggers and cast members and everything got involved. And Emily was like, and she like blocked me. And oh no, Emily blocked me. I'm not losing sleep over Emily blocking me.
Are you so sad about it? Oh,
so
she blocked.
She's so irrelevant. And then, Sasha and I didn't talk anymore, but people said, so now people have this, and then the story gets twisted over the years. And it's, Frauded asks for inappropriate pictures from cast members. She's completely inappropriate with cast members. She's a terrible human being, blah, 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 blah. That's not true, but people are going to believe it.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it comes and goes now because like the
Whatever.
people only remember it now that we bring it back. They'll be like, "Oh, that's right, you were the dick pig blogger. Oh my god!"
Like now we can't find any tea. Like we dig and we dig. It's really bad. Like it's so bad that like I feel like we've hit the peak of like finding the tea. Like it's gotten really bad. Like we can't find anything. Like we used to get like, you know, look for this guy's Facebook, but I can't find any pictures. So it's like either
I try to find the friends, the peripheral friends.
No one, nothing. Everyone's like blocked, has private accounts. Like it's we're getting rusty, guys. You know. But yeah. So Danielle, what else did we want to ask?
Do we have other tea on this episode?
No, I mean it was pretty.
Wait, on Sasha and Emily. Wait,
no. On I'm sorry.
I think this weekend is the tell-all because I saw David's post all in New York, and then he posted himself in Harlem, and then he posted himself in the green room. So
you're talking about David of the friend and Jabri
of superstar Jabri. So I have another question, guys. Really good question.
Who thinks that they were a couple?
And that's
why David hates Miona.
Who would you rather listen to? Soulja Boy, Jabri's band, or who else is a rapper?
Are you gonna say the rapper guy that was with the Swedish chick?
No, there's another rapper.
Hollow Brooks.
Hollow Brooks, yeah. Was she from Sweden? Was it Norway?
You know, they were making music in the studio and then they got into a fight, you know, whatever. And then I'm listening to
Julianne and Michael's family.
No. Oh, that's another rapper. Family? Yeah. The whole
remember like, they had this like swingers? basement swingers band thing going on?
Well, we have Sarah's husband is the white middle-aged white boy rapper. So
or do we want to or would you rather listen to Kara's man, ex-boyfriend Chris from the high school reunion as a rapper?
I'm gonna go with the Black Serbs.
Really?
With Jabri.
I'm shocked.
And the reason is, so if anybody has noticed, very few people have noticed, I've been posting all these reels lately, these clips of the show, and I've been posting them with the music Black Serbs songs. Every reel I post. Well, there's a few that don't, but most of the reels about the show are posted with Black Serbs music, and only like a few people on Instagram are noticing. And somebody commented, and I was like, they were like, nice song choice. And I was like, so I got to go with Black Serbs.
Okay, but then I heard Chris has some really good music as well. You know, Kara's ex-boyfriend. He's a rapper. You know, so. You know, all they talk about is like, you know, partying and like bitches and hoes, you know, the usual stuff, you know, because they're so gangster from South Dakota and Virginia. So, yeah, no offense to the Virginians or the South Dakotans, you know, just saying.
Offense to South Dakotans. I mean, I'll just go there. Sorry.
I mean, you know, he walks around South Dakota looking like, you know, space cowboy, you know, it's all good. You know,
God, the space cowboy.
Disco space cowboy. I mean,
Danielle. You're laughing. Tell us your thoughts on this.
He reminds me of NSYNC in 2001. Like it's gonna be May.
Holy
like that's
crap.
Stop. He looks like Justin Timberlake, JC, Lance Bass, Joey Fatone. They all vomited on Jabri. Like,
I was gonna say they have like the boy band vibe. All of these 90-day rappers could get together and just have
like
the 90-day boy band.
Yeah, 90-day boy band. That's a great idea. I think the runner should be.
Sorry, I think I'm gonna have to go with Darcy and Stacy because remember Darcy and Stacy things too.
No, lock your number. Lock your number.
Stop. Darcy and Stacy are like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Hello.
Oh, like if they had a reunion show and they're like, you know,
someone else is a singer with the guitar.
Chantel's brother, River.
Yes, River.
We saw him on Bears All.
Yeah, he sings about his penis though.
Yeah, and cunnilingus.
Yeah.
I'm like, faces.
I'm like, he's so new to the world. I'm like, have you ever though?
I think International Soulja Boy will be the most famous, obviously.
International rap star.
Soulja Boy, you know. Because Kimberly will make it happen
from somebody else. Oh my God.
So I don't know, Danielle, who's your like breakout star? Who do you know, side people, regular couples, who do you think is like funny this season? Like, who do you think is who do we love? I don't know. I don't really love anybody, but
I don't either. No one's really standing out besides them trying to be Instagram famous.
It's gonna be May. That's what's going on here. I mean, David is cute, a good-looking guy. You know, he could be the lead singer of the boy band with Jabri. I mean, I don't know about the guy with this motorcycle helmet, but you know,
the guy with the brother who the brother with the alcohol problem who lives with him. Who's that couple?
Oh, that's
Thais and
Pat.
Patrick.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. I don't think he cares either. I think he's just doing
the
he's
brother
just talking as he wants. Yep. I don't think he
didn't give a shit about anything.
I think it's awesome. I think he's a star quality. That's actually a good one.
Danielle, are there any secrets that you're allowed to share from anything show related from the beginning to now? Is there anything behind the scenes secrets that you can tell us?
I think a lot of the fans need to understand that you do not get the full story. It's reality TV. We film 12 hours a day when they come and film people.
12 hours? What?
That's insane.
And each
How many
time
days
they come one. The longest I filmed is 10 days, and that was in Ocean City.
Oh, for Single Life.
Yes.
10 days in a row.
Single Life. Like what is the concept of Single Life, and like what did they have you do? Like you're just
how'd they sell it to you?
Yeah.
Well, they were asking me if I was dating and if I wanted to get back into the dating scene and stuff like that. So that's how that came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting. How does keep going?
When she does have a date, like you have to like make the person like be like you'll say, oh hi, hello John, hello Joe, like you want to be on a date with me, like and then would you like to be filmed, like or did
they had Lexi make a dating profile using my pictures, and that's how they got them in. Except the first date that was on Bears All, I had set that one up.
Okay, so all those dates were set up by you and like not producers, right?
Yeah, not producers.
So then you explained to them that you're filming the show, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, were any of them actual serious like prospects, or was it all just for the show?
Just the last one, Robert, because that's one that I set up, the one where I went axe throwing with. But then because I was talking to him a couple months, and then when I came back from Ocean City, he said he wouldn't mind going out with me, but then it just completely dried up because he was making excuse after excuse after excuse.
We were talking about him the night we had dinner.
Yeah.
And Lexi was like, just if he's doing that, not worth your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hanakawa, you had a question.
I was trying to in my head, so payment, of course. Everyone has a question about payment. Do they pay you significantly more for these spinoffs, or does it kind of start whittling down? You don't have to say what it is, but we kind of have an idea about the real show. But like for these spinoffs, this like 90 Day Diaries, this dating show, are they still capping you out?
I have worked my way up. I've worked.
Guys, she's the Snooki of TLC. Like she gets
$500 was what me and Muhammad first started out.
Oh my God, you got $500 an episode?
Yes.
What the?
And then I'm up to a couple thousand, but the Diaries pays less.
I would imagine so, since it's all filmed on their cell phones.
Self-filmed and stuff.
It's the COVID Diaries, pretty much.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, the quarantine specials and stuff. But it worked. I mean, they kind of revamped it a little bit post, the major, quarantine, and it turned it into something that people can watch. If people want to follow your certain story, they can go watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which actually I think is brilliant because
that's what I wondered with like the bringing on of the app and having the app shows. Was it an option to still have the stars under contract, but for significantly less, just kind of keep you guys chained up forever?
Yes.
Yes, because your NDA, every time you do something new, they make you sign a new contract.
Every time
it continues and continues and continues. Because even though I haven't filmed a second season of Single Life, I'm still under that contract because they renewed it every year to keep me in contract.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Are you going to do another Single Life?
They have not approached me.
Okay.
So basically they keep you under optional,
I am pretty
right?
boring right now because all I do is work and I have no interest in any man right now. Okay. I'm content in my life.
I want to talk just briefly. I want to detour, since you said work. I want to congratulate you on getting your LPN.
Thank you.
Yes, congrats.
You worked hard. You got your LPN, which is a licensed practical nurse. It's like in the varying steps of medical and nursing care. It's one of the
it's a licensed, the licensed practical nurse. So you're doing a little bit more than just like a assistant nurse or a medical assistant, but you do have the option to step up to like registered nurse if you want to.
Yes.
If that's on your journey, right?
Right. But at LPN is you worked hard, you got that degree, and congratulations, girl.
Yes.
That is amazing. Because when you first started, you were working at like the nursing home or something, right?
When I first started the show, I was doing direct care for the mentally handicapped adults.
Oh, that's really nice. And so now you're an LPN and you're working hard, and I think it's great. So that's fantastic. So I just want to take a minute to say that. Now we can go back to the snark and the tea and anything else. What other fun behind the scenes stuff can you share with us? Maybe not if you can't do specifics, maybe general stuff.
The scenes like going into buildings, those take forever because they have to do it from different angles. So you usually go in and out of a building 4 times.
Oh yeah. Are the dates real? Like, have you really met these, or are they setting them? I guess I'm curious of how that works.
They're real because Lexi had like fished for the guys on the dating app for me.
Oh. Do they find it odd when you're like, okay, I want to go on a date, but there's going to be cameras, and you're probably going to have to walk into the restaurant 4 times, and we're going to probably. Yeah, do they know who you are?
That's the thing. They didn't want to use my picture in case people
wanted to troll and
watch the show.
So
that's Lexi used a picture that had the 4 of us girls together. And then when Lexi got them talking, then she would say, "There's a chance that you might have to appear on a TV show."
Okay, so when these guys went on dates with you, they knew who you were at that point. They knew you.
Yeah, they didn't know who I was.
Oh, they didn't. Okay,
no, they didn't.
So they hadn't watched the show.
I can imagine a lot of the guys in the guy pool are probably not sitting at home with popcorn watching 90 Day.
Right.
We do have, we
do. It's nothing to do with gender or sex, but it's just like I find that majority of my audience is 35-year-old women.
Yeah. There are a significant group of husbands, partners, boyfriends that watch because their wives or girlfriends do.
Well, most guys, like the only guy that anyone ever knows is Big Ed. That's like when guys are like, "Oh, you do a podcast about 90 Day Fiance?" Like, how's Big Ed? And I'm like,
well, unfortunately, he's a meme now, so people know him as much as Grumpy Cat.
People outside
they know Angela. Angela, I think, is on like Danielle is obviously the queen, but Danielle is like Prince Harry of 90 Day Fiance. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have the OG and the most insane, right? So we know our OG ones, and then there's the ones that are just so out there. They obviously have like that identify it, like Big Ed. Like I said, people who watch PewDiePie know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Just the meme of him. They don't know like they don't know
I
like.
can tell you a scene. Because they were probably mad at me because I refused to do it. Okay. Do you remember? Did you guys watch the Bears All where I was talking about the sex toys and stuff?
Yes. Yes, we did. And we had an episode about it
again when I filmed the diaries that was filmed in Maryland. They were wanting me to go to dinner with Lexi, Lauren, and Michelle, and they were wanting me to bring sex toys out during dinner.
What, to sharing them and talking about them?
What?
Like, take it out the table. Like, here is my pink rabbit vibrator.
Because this was last year when I was in nursing school, when I went to film in March. It was a weekend in March. And I had already gotten recognized at the hospital when I was doing, we had to go weekly to do patient care at the hospital. And I'm like, I am not doing this. I put my foot down and I said, I'm not doing this because you guys are not the ones that had to live with consequences. I do. And I'm going to school to be a nurse.
And I'm not going to
It's bad
dinner
enough.
with a clit sucker. I'm just not.
It's bad enough that Danielle has to live with the meme, I want my sex.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Now we're going to throw vibrators and dildos into the mix? Absolutely not.
If you turn the page and it's fine, I'll get my
I
sex.
said no.
I just wonder,
I
like,
want my sex. Okay, here.
imagine coming out of an operation and then Danielle is your like nurse and you wake up and you're like, whoa, am I dreaming? This is who's taking care of me?
She's like, it's okay. It's okay. She goes, wait, no, I tried that toy you recommended. It changed my life, but that's why I'm here.
It's stuck up my butthole. Oh, and then crossover because TLC has that show, It's Stuck or something like that, where it's like all these people getting things removed from orifices in their body.
I have no. What?
Honestly, guys, please, the newest, the Bahamas one with the 90 Day in Paradise.
Oh my God.
That is a beyond shit show. I mean, there's some star quality threesome action.
Oh, there's a throuple on this new season.
There's polyamorous people. So like Sharp is getting creative as fuck right now. He is digging through the archives of the trash of America. I don't know where he's finding these people, but it's television gold.
It's really gold though. He heard me on the throuple. He heard me.
He did.
Community sex.
So the newest guy, the Bahamas guy is.
This is a new season of 90 Day Caribbean. Just dropped on.
It's amazing. It's gold.
It's on. It was on TLC, but it was also on Discovery Plus. So
yeah.
So this guy goes to the DR. He's from wherever he's from, and he meets a lesbian couple. He has a threesome with them the whole vacation, and then he decides that one of them he likes more than the other. So he's going to go back to the DR to propose and throw the other girl out. Okay.
Oh my God. Hold on. I'm bookmarking this right now. Hold on.
This is like what I watched.
Danielle,
yesterday.
I want to do a watch along with you because I want a reaction videos sitting with you watching the show and seeing your reaction to these things because your reactions are priceless.
So basically, like Fraudcast's whole thing is don't fall in love or get knocked up by your vacation booty. And all these women have not listened to you and are doing the opposite.
They're like, so you want me to go and get knocked up on my vacation booty and or their brother, and I don't know who the father is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. All right. Got to keep adding layers to insanity.
Gold.
Which of the lesbians did he get pregnant? That's what I want to know.
I don't think he got her pregnant, but it's just it's interesting. But you know, it is what it is, guys.
There's so much.
I mean, this 100th episode is going to be epic. Just saying, but yeah. So I mean, favorite. So what do you think? Let's wrap. We should wrap up and say like, who is your favorite of all time and least favorite of all time? So far to go first.
Oh, my favorite of all time.
Person? I mean, not Danielle. We can't say Danielle. Like second to Danielle. Oh, Danielle is everyone's favorite, but just
everyone pales in comparison to Danielle. Probably David of David and Annie. He has proven to be kind of a nice guy, and while I wasn't a huge fan of his behavior on the seasons, I chalk it up to a lot of producer-driven stuff and whatnot, and not showing his true qualities because you see him and Annie now on Pillow Talk and their cooking show and stuff, and you see them together, and it's a different dynamic than what you saw on the show, and this seems more real and more genuine. So he feels very genuine to me. So I would probably say David is probably my next in line.
And then your least favorite.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
She's my cracker eater, so you know.
Not crazy about
Danielle,
it.
if you don't know what that means, it's like there's a meme that talks about like, you know, when somebody bugs you, so bad that everything they do bugs you. Like, look at that bitch over there eating crackers. That's Jenny to me. I'm Jenny and Smith. She's my cracker eater. All right, Hanakawa.
I'm sorry, just laughing at you.
Your favorite and least favorite.
He doesn't want to marry me now.
No, he doesn't. I'm done.
Nick keeps telling me he's going to, but oh my God, I can't. She doesn't even make my list. Okay, so
who's your favorite?
My favorite is actually Anfisa. And it has nothing.
Oh wow.
Nothing to do with
OG.
like her on the show. Like on the show, I think, she was young, right?
Yeah.
But I look at where she was, the circumstances with her husband going to jail, whatever happened, whatever reason he was doing it for. And her kind of like taking off on her own. She went to college. She has this like fitness stuff going on. She's looks fucking amazing. I think her journey is what makes me go, she's one of my favorites. Because a lot of people forget, like, she started out really fucking bratty.
She was a cam girl in Russia. She met George, and then, I think she genuinely.
I think he busted his balls to give her everything she wanted. But he also brought her over here acting like he could give her everything she wanted, and he couldn't. So,
correct. So she was like, the fuck?
Right. But she made something, and now she has what she wants.
She doesn't need a man.
Hopefully she's happy. She doesn't need a man, but hopefully if she wants one, she's getting one.
Excellent.
Least favorite. My least favorite. Oh my God. It has to be Tariq. I fucking hate him.
I forgot about him.
I hate him so much.
Tariq and Hazel and
and usually like I have really good reason.
It's the mesh shirt, isn't it? It's the mesh shirt that really set you over the edge.
I think it's his like a fear of getting out of the limelight, whatever it was for him. And I know that he has like daughter and family to take care of. And I'm just like, I wish that I could see the focus on that. Maybe you just can't see on the shows, but just like the beef with his brother, the hot sauce crap, the acting like he's some, womanizing male. I cannot take it. And the wanting to open up the relationship, whatever truth there was to that, all that stuff is just slimy to me. And so every time I see him, I'm like, nope, don't know.
Okay.
There we go.
Anna.
I'm gonna say Colt, guys. He's the worst. Colt.
Yeah, he is kind of an asshole. Yeah.
Colt and my favorite, it's a toss up between Larissa and Angela. Probably.
Really?
Larissa,
that's right. You like the people that are just terrible. I forget about that.
But Larissa's awesome though.
Larissa's star quality, and Jasmine is on Larissa level from last season too. She's nuts.
Jasmine and Hollowbrooks. Blake.
No, Jasmine Panama with Gino.
Oh, you like her?
I like her because she's insane. I think
I would have known you're gonna defend all the crazies. I forget that.
Bring me a crazy Latina any day, guys. Like
Larissa's doing it though. I'm in one of her groups.
I mean, Larissa is like, and Angela is like pretty OG too. Angela, like they just have like amazing entertaining star quality. And like Darcy, I do like Darcy, but
I love Darcy.
She is not as entertaining as them.
It's sad with Darcy. That's why I think, because I love Darcy.
I empathize with Darcy because I think she's a really sweet person. So I think like with them three, I think they're all just batshit crazy. And I think they're funny. I think it's like almost comical, hilarious. And then Colt is just so disgusting. And like, he thinks he's some hot stuff. And he's just like, bleh. So him and Big Ed are like, I wouldn't save them if I was drowning with the Titanic. No.
I wouldn't piss on them if they're on fire.
No.
All right. Danielle, I want to hear this because favorites and least favorites, and also you've met a lot of these people in person. So I would like to hear your commentary after your best and worst commentary on people behind the scenes, like something that we might not know.
I love David and Annie. They are awesome. I've met them in person. The way they are on TV is how they are in person.
They're sweet.
Yes, they're sweet. Big Ed is my least favorite.
Wow.
He's just an asshole. He is an asshole.
You? Really?
He was at the tell-all passing his stickers out.
Wait. He's passing his sticker out.
He was passing his head stickers out to
Danielle.
Oh my God.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yes, really.
I put some of those in the bathroom at the college.
He's too much into himself.
And he's been that way since before the show.
Women is downgrading.
Yes. Do you have any insight on him and Liz? I mean, everybody thinks that it was like, it's kind of fake.
Stage.
Like they're in this deal, like he paid her originally and then now they're like continuing this. And she's made comments about that made it sound like she's done pretending or something. Do you have any insight?
I was beginning to think that they're both in it just for the fame, because when we left the tell-all, she was actually really upset. And then I do know that what they said about them sleeping together in New York, and then he left her the next morning. I mean, yeah. And then 6 months later, they're back together.
And engaged?
Yeah, and engaged. It don't make no sense. Yeah. And the phone calls that were put out there that were like, where he was talking nasty to her.
Well, the best was during the Single Life Tell-All, because they posted like a third part for the last season, and then they bring on Coyote. What's her name? Coyote. I can't even say her name. Poor girl. And they were like, "Were you ever attracted to Ed physically?" And she goes, "No." Like, okay. Were you ever? And then Liz goes outside and is like, "I can't watch clips of him on dates with other women." Like, get out of here, bro. Like, this is so bullshit.
Yeah.
This is all staged nonsense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. As we're starting to wrap up, Danielle, I want to hear more from you, because I haven't like had a deep conversation like this with you about this stuff in a long time. And I want to know so your journey so far, and where you're at. You said we're working all the time. You don't have time for dating. You're fine with that. Yeah. And you and Muhammad are friends now, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. You've gotten to that point in your journey. And I think that is great. Tell me about favorite moments and not favorite moments on this journey. And do you have any regrets about sharing all of this on TV?
My least favorite moments would have to be going through the divorce and reliving it. And then the tell-all where he said those remarks.
Right. That we're not going to repeat here, because I will not have that said about my queen.
Yes. And then what I like about sharing my journey is that where I'm at now, I hope that other women can see that you can come out of it and still be on top.
Yay! I like that.
Yes.
Do you have any regrets about sharing all of this stuff on TV? Because I feel like with you don't share everything, but you share enough. Like you share pictures of your grandchildren and all of it. So you share your life like a normal person on Instagram would, but you're not like, I don't think you're not pulling like a Debris and Miona level of thirst trap on Instagram. Yes. But do you have any regrets about showing what you have shown? Because I feel like there are things that you hold back and you don't show, which, is great. But
yes, because especially after going through the stuff with Muhammad and knowing that a lot of things played into it, because me and him both have agreed if it wasn't for doing the show, we'd probably be still together.
Oh, interesting.
If it wasn't for the show. Yeah.
Is that good or bad? I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously you guys weren't meant to be together. I mean, long term or anything, but I love that you guys have established a friendship now. I think that's great. And I know you and I have talked behind the scenes about how just general like life stuff about people changing. And, I'm not the same person I was when I first started this journey, either this journey in the Fraudcast or this journey on Instagram, and the things that I used to say and do, I don't anymore because I've grown and changed as a person. And I just
that's what people need to remember, that people do grow over time and change. You have to remember that when Muhammad came here, he was 26. He had no family here.
Right.
He couldn't work, and he's always worked since I've known him, all except when he was here
and couldn't legally not able to. Yeah.
And then you factor in the show, you factor in friends and family, and then you factor in fans from the show. Because let me tell you,
that's right. You
fans are batshit crazy.
Yes.
When you're digging into a reality star who you don't even know personally, you're digging into their court records, criminal history, trying to contact family members and shit. That's going too far.
But we do that.
No, we're not that bad.
if we reach out to somebody and they're like, fuck you, we leave it. We don't, you know what I mean?
No,
like, we're not going to.
There's usually not multiple attempts. I would say like before.
There's like multiple attempts, some of these people. And some of these women that are married and messaging these reality stars from the show and then trying to start conversations to them to see if it goes inappropriate so they can post it and become famous themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's you bring up a good point. See, we just want to
put on a show. We want to entertain.
We're just nosy. That's
yeah. That's how it started. That's how it started with me.
It's more like
I was just curious. People always want to know, like, how did you start the Firecast? Like, how did this come about? What first started, or your Instagram? And I'm like, honestly, I was on Reddit as a fan, and I loved the show. And I was watching before the 90 Day season 2 or season 1. I forget which one it is. And it was the Paul and Paul and Cringey season. This was the season they were introduced to us, and that was an early season. So this was years ago, before a lot of this stuff, before the evolution of the show and the drama and all that stuff. And he had said on the show that I have a secret about that I need to share with you, and I was like, oh my God, what's a secret? Because then I got really excited about secrets. Now it's like, everybody, my dog has a secret, and I was like, what is the secret? So I started Googling him, and it brought me to Reddit. And I've learned there that he had this, arson conviction in his background. But then I got into Reddit, and I was really into that, the subreddit on 90 Day. And it was through there that, like, the John and Rachel, I always credit them because it was their story that I started investigating. My friends and I started investigating them because they had said they'd never met. And there was a lot of stuff in their Instagram, their past Instagram stuff that made us question that. So we started investigating it. And that's when Frauded, the Instagram account, was born. But it was originally Follow My Fraudy Tale, because John and Rachel had a hashtag that was Follow Our Fairy Tale. And I was like, and an Instagram account. And I was like, no, fuck you, Rachel. You're not going to tell me what to do. I won't follow your fairy tale. And so I called it Follow Your Fraudy Tale. Right. So I started and it was putting up this evidence of, did they meet or have they not met, and all this stuff. And for that whole season was dedicated to them and uncovering their fraud. And then, John didn't like me. And then it was this whole back and forth, and he was posting profile pictures of him flipping me off. And it was this back and forth. And I will say, he and I are friendly now. He and I worked out of stuff, and I apologized publicly that I believe I was wrong and that they had not actually met. And I had sufficient evidence to show me that. And I put that out there, and he and I talked, and, I asked him about, him and Rachel coming on the show maybe. And, all this stuff. Of course, they're, I think, under contract. He was wanting to come on because he was like, I would love to tell a real story and not the producer vision, driven story. But then I think he went under contract with them again. So he decided not to. Which is fine, whatever. But that's how it started. And then I switched to just regular Fraud. And that was season 6 of regular 90 Day. And that was, the insane season with Ashley and Jay and Larissa and Colt and all that stuff. And that was the season of the dick pics and things. Just that was the shifting point in the show and in the way we covered things and all that stuff. And then everything sort of just grew from there. And here we are. Danielle, I'm surprised you didn't say your least favorite person was Laura.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, we forgot about her.
I try not to bring up her name because
I wasn't going to bring it up either, but she's one of my least favorite too. That whole thing was going down when Tucker was being arrested, and there was all kinds. She was putting out Tucker's like mugshots with her personal address. She was doxing her and all this stuff. And it, like, whatever Tucker did or didn't do to me personally, like, she doesn't deserve to have her shit out there, right? Yeah. I posted her stuff because, well, I redacted her, personal information, and I posted it because it was a big deal. People were like, what happened to Tucker? What happened? Because I couldn't talk about it at that point. Mm-hmm. There were things that I might have been implicated in because she frauded me too, and sort of tricked me into using me to do some stuff with her husband, to trick her husband and all this stuff, but she would fall under false pretenses. So there was things that I was involved with that I couldn't talk about the whole thing because I didn't know what my liability was, or, you know, and I was talking to a lawyer, and, you know, of course I have a law degree and I have certain obligations, ethical obligations and stuff. So I had talked to an attorney that handles that kind of stuff in Florida, where Talker's located. So I had to get advice on how to go forward with it. And I couldn't post everything right away, but I was like, Talker's no longer with the show. And how do I phrase this? So that, I mean, of course, it brought up tons of stuff. And then I posted her, you know, this is what happened, you know, this, but this is as far as I can talk about it at this point. And then for like a year, people were like, can you talk about the Talker stuff yet? Can you talk about it yet? And, I sort of can, but, you know, who cares at this point? Okay. So anyway, so I think we've been talking for like 2 hours. This is gonna be a hell of an episode. Supersized episode, but oh my God, I'm just tickled that I'm surprised that we got here. You know, Hanakawa and I took a break from the show for a while. We stopped it. We didn't know, we just couldn't do it. There was other things going on in our lives. And then we came back. And honestly, I'm going to tell you the honest truth of why we came back is we got an advertising offer that we couldn't refuse. And it was like, we're going to pay you X amount of money for, you know, this. And we're like, oh, we can't really turn that down. It was like a decent amount of money. And we're like, okay.
So we got our asses back in gear. Yeah.
And now here we are. I don't know how long ago that was, but here we are doing this. And I know we get comments on like the reviews and stuff that are like, we don't talk about tea anymore. And it's kind of drying up. It's hard to get. We're trying, and we've got more people now that we, you know, sort of, you know, Anna on our team more like officially. You know, we're getting more stuff, but it's hard, you know, and like Danielle, like you said, you know, you guys all are everybody's under contract now, and they're really coming down on you guys.
Even when you do diaries, you're under a contract.
Right. And so you guys can't say anything. And, you know, you know, at least a couple of years ago, the contract provision about what, you know, you doing outside interviews and stuff, it's worded in a way that's really scary. So of course people are going to be like, oh, I don't want TLC coming after me. And I'm like, as long as you don't say anything you're not supposed to say, you'll be fine. But of course, you know, people are scared, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that TLC got really mad at me when I revealed that Sumit had been married. I know that TLC went after some cast members hard on that one. Did you talk to Fraud? Did you tell them that? Yeah. Of course, I'm never going to share my source in that. But.
Womp, 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 womp.
Okay, closing thoughts.
I'm really excited to meet Danielle finally. You're so sweet. And I'm really happy to be here for the 100th episode, and hopefully we have 100 more.
Excellent. Hanakawa, closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts, the same, Danielle. Thank you for, I think we've been trying to get you here for a while. I think Katrina's been trying to get you here for a while.
Yeah, it had to work out. The timing had to work out, right?
And that's great. And I am happy to have it sounds weird to say it that way, a third that meshes with our personalities a bit better. I think that it's
having Anna.
It's just because it's been a lot of like, oh, I don't know, but bring someone else on.
Bringing someone else in. Yeah.
you kind of get little PTSD from the last, you know, attempts. But yeah. I think that the dynamic is good. So I'm extremely happy that I don't have to talk as much. So thank you.
You're thanking me for my big mouth. So thanks.
Well, I am so shy, and Katrina's probably just like, well, you just talk a little bit more. I'm like, no, I can't.
We're the girls who got very talkative on the report cards. So that's us.
Yes. I got talked too much on the report cards.
I just
my Adderall
like
dose
a stupid person.
So they just upped my Adderall dose. So we'll see. And Danielle, we'll close it out with you because you're the queen, and you will always be the queen of 90 Day in my eyes. And anything I can do to continue to push your legacy, I will. So let's end with you. Your closing thoughts on or anything you want.
I wish you guys nothing but the best. And I hope people continue to watch the show. I mean, even though it's fake sometimes.
A complete and utter shit show. I can't wait. This
I feel better about my own life watching it.
Yeah, right? I think the Caribbean has some star content. And I think, you know, these wannabe, you know, rappers and boy banders, they're going to get their ass kicked eventually. That's my predictions.
All right. Anything else from you, Danielle?
I'm kind of interested too in watching the UK version that's coming out.
Yeah.
I just followed one of the cast members for it, and he said he was Team Danielle. So
I need a Team Danielle t-shirt. You guys see the t-shirt I'm wearing today? It's a t-shirt.
I like that shirt.
It's got a cup of tea on it.
Love it. Cute.
I need a Team Danielle one. Hashtag Team Danielle. With a little crown over the D in Danielle. Ooh, I'm gonna make it once I clean up this craft room of mine that I'm in. It's a mess. Anyway, okay. Thank you, Danielle, for joining us.
Welcome.
This was so good. So good. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Hanakawa. Thank you all for 100 episodes. Thank you to everybody who's listened, everybody who's left a review, good, bad, all of them. Even if you're a hater, you listen to the show and you write reviews.
I withheld saying like a lot. Hanakawa was giggled less, and I don't know, Katrina.
I do mouth breathing.
Continuous improvement, right?
Yeah, keep writing the reviews. I'm trying not to say like as much. So.
Like really. I think it's a wrap. Like, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You guys, I got to jump off. Something came up I need to take care of right now.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Hey, remember how 20 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, now it's the future, and I used all those savings to buy this new hologram phone. Because, it's the future, and everything is holograms now.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customer surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.